Hey beautiful people, we're going to talk in this video about how does innovation lead to growth. In this episode we're going to look at how innovation drives organizational and corporate growth. We're going to examine the three engines of innovation capacity development, how innovations scale from individual practices to organizational impact, and the connection between commitments and networks that drive growth. What if growth isn't about resources, but it's actually about your ability to be able to amplify your people? We're going to look at why most growth initiatives fail and what to do about it, and look at how to turn everyday practices into growth engines. By the end of the video, I want you to be able to understand how to grow innovation capacity systematically. In my book, The Innovation Mindset, I talk about the three engines of capacity development. They are personal practices, team practices, and ecosystem practices. And they start with observe, which is really a major part of the personal practice. So if you are able to observe patterns, if you are able to observe offers, if you are able to observe opportunities to be able to make offers, if you're able to observe requests that other people make of you and understand them as requests, you are putting yourself into a different mindset and into a different flow than if you were simply being assigned tasks and delivering on those tasks. The experience part of the growth is when we actually start building those practices as a team. And what happens when we start doing that is we experience a different way of working together. So our traditional way of working together has always looked at task assignment, delegation. And what happens is we build those tasks at the top level in an organization based on our OKRs, our KPIs. And then we break them down into small chunks of work that need to be done, because our mindset around work is still the mindset of Henry Ford assembly line factories in the 1910s and 1920s. And we think about work as material input, processed by a person or processed by a machine, producing an output. And our understanding of work really hasn't shifted that much. And because our understanding of work hasn't shifted that much, we haven't managed to tap into the generative capacity of human beings. And as we move into the age of AI, what we're doing is we're moving even beyond the generative capacity. We're moving into the wisdom era, when we are looking for human beings to have a level of discernment and a level of wisdom and a level of understanding how to move inside an organization to deliver value, particularly if we start using AI agents and AI bots. We are putting ourselves in a position where we need to have a much, much higher level of wisdom than our ancestors did when they were simply producing cars on a factory floor in the 1920s. The experience that we produce when we start practicing innovation together on a team is an experience of setting ourselves up to be able to amplify each other. As we move into impacting an innovation ecosystem and building an innovation ecosystem based on the three engines of innovation capacity development that I talk about in my book, we start being able to amplify each other. And the process that happens when you start doing that is you start observing for yourself, you start seeing the disconnect between the way that you're trying to work and the way that work is designed and structured. You start moving into an environment where you are able to make more powerful offers to other people in your organization. And you start seeing a lot of the breakdowns that are happening as miscoordinations and miscommunications and misalignments that happen when people aren't in a level of coherence that allows them to be able to deliver value for each other. Once you build yourself as an observer of that, what happens over time is you now build the capacity to be able to create that experience beyond yourself. You build the capacity to be able to help your people make offers to you. You build the capacity to be able to provide a level of context for your people that they would never otherwise have. You build your capacity not just to be able to give them presentations and information, but to give them context that they can have ready to hand that makes them more intelligent. There have been a number of studies done, and they point to the idea that in the absence of context, as human beings, we cope. We do the best we can. We try and figure things out for ourselves. If you give a human being more context as to why they're doing what they're doing, what is the purpose of what they're doing? What is the value that they're adding to their customers or to their community? What is the value they're adding to their boss? Why that value is important and how it fits into the bigger game. What we're doing is we're providing a level of context for people. That positions us and them to be able to have a shared experience of understanding and gaining wisdom. Over time, what that produces when it comes to building innovation capacity is it produces a level of amplification that allows us to be able to make each other more intelligent by working more effectively together. Let me ask you a question. What is an example of innovation that made a difference where you work? And by that, I'm talking about not what is a bright, brilliant idea that someone had, but an innovation that looked more like an improvement, but actually led to a significant innovation in terms of opportunity to better serve customers, in terms of market share, in terms of bringing a new product to market. So I want you to start thinking about what are the small things that happened that moved away from the factory floor mindset and moved into the innovation mindset and allowed somebody, maybe you, ideally you, in your organization to be more innovative. And how can you continue to build that as a practice over time? Let me know in the comments. One of the things I talk about in the book is the power with mindset. Now, we're used to the power over mindset, one that basically says if someone is senior to you, they can tell you what to do all of the time. Now, that's actually very useful when people had no education and they really didn't know what they were doing and they were doing a lot of their work for the very first time. It's also very useful if you're at war and you need people to be able to respond to commands. It's not very useful when you're trying to build innovation capacity, when you are trying to exceed your customers' expectations, when you're trying to excel in your marketplace. You need a hands-on, all hands on deck approach that allows people to be able to feel seen, heard and valued in the workplace. One of the most effective ways to do that is to do a power with approach. Mary Parker Follett in the 1920s did a lot of work in this space and has written some tremendous books, and she talks about the idea of power with. Power with is something that creates an environment where people understand who the boss is. Absolutely they do. And they understand the hierarchy. But the power with approach allows you to be able to co-invent with them. Many bosses put themselves in a position where they are the final say on everything, where they know better than a lot of their people. And what they do is they fall into the power over approach. If you move yourself into the power with approach, you create an environment where people can actually co-invent with you. By doing that, what you're doing is you're creating an environment where it is possible to actually amplify the capabilities of others, which is kind of your job as a leader or a manager. There are a number of studies that have shown that organizations that have more innovation practices and more amplification opportunities for people are 37 to 40% more likely to be able to bring powerful products to market. Innovation pays off when it is incorporated into your culture and your organization as a practice that allows people to be able to think and grow and share and innovate together. One of the most powerful ways to do that is to bring in an innovation mindset and the associated innovation practices that go with it, and to be able to help leaders move away from the command and control mindset, which is the 1920s factory floor mindset, to one of co-invention. The most powerful part of this process is the ability to be able to make offers, the ability to help other people make offers, the ability to solicit and invite offers from other people. And the reason why I'm starting with this is because that is the first step in the process. If you can create an environment where your people can come to you readily with offers that they can see to improve processes, offers that they can see to improve relationships, offers they can see to improve customer satisfaction or service, and by that I mean internal and external customers, where they can see offers to improve the way things are done, where they can see offers to improve the way that you're building a product, the way you're thinking about a product, the way that you're coordinating with other teams, the way you're doing software development. Every single person on your team has seen a way to begin to improve things, and yet we fail to understand that there is a powerful practice continuum between improvement, making offers to improve things, and innovation, making amazing offers that will actually lead to enormous growth and market opportunity. So as you start thinking about how does innovation lead to growth, recognize that innovation is a practice. If you begin to build that practice over time, what you're doing is you're leveraging resources and leveraging people in a way that you have not done in the past. As you continue to do that, you'll begin to see growth happening in the people across your organization, which will translate into, in the practices, in the value that's created, in the revenue that's generated, in the relationships and engagement with customers. As you start off in your innovation journey, I have an innovation readiness assessment that I think you will find very valuable. There is a link for it down below in the comments. It is www.innovationassessment.com. Take it, let me know how it works for you, and let's continue the conversation. I wish you the very best of luck on your innovation journey.